The Elgin marbles. Who should have ownership, and what country should they reside in, England or Greece? This is a question that has been debated. Mary Beard stated these actions were controversial from the very beginning. Some of the literature states Lord Elgin wanted to preserve Greek art. Other literature states it was all about money and greed. I will take you through the history of where it started. We will start at the Parthenon, travel with Lord Elgin as he obtained custody of the marbles to the British Museum where they live at present time, and the controversy if they should be living in Greece at the Acropolis Museum. Parthenon is the building that the marbles, the Elgin marbles, were discovered in the Acropolis of Athens. The Parthenon is a representative example of high degree of architectural accomplishment attained by the 5th century BC. All through straight lines seem to be the architectural form at the Parthenon. There is actually not even one single straight line in it. The Parthenon marbles were carved into the side of the building. There are three types of carvings. The metopes, which are individual statues. Frieze tells the story of the Panel festival, and the predominant statue on either side of the temple. The Parthenon has been a building to different cultures. In 450, Christian church, in 1204, a Catholic church, and in 1458, Turks turned it into one of the finest mosques. In 1674, the French ambassador paid a visit to the Parthenon with artist Jacques Carré. Jacques made several drawings and sketches, which are still preserved in the Paris Library. In 1687, the fight between the Venetians and Turks caused a cannonball to hit the Parthenon Mosque. They had been storing gunpowder, and the building was ruined. By 1800s, it was rebuilt a little. All sculptures and pieces of the Parthenon was used for building material of other houses. At this time, travelers, antiquarians from northern Europe were taking anything they could from the Parthenon. Thomas Bruce, 7th Earl of Elgin, was appointed British ambassador. According to Craig Flower, ever since Earl of Elgin was young, he put every effort to be of service to the arts by making his countrymen more familiar with Greek antiques. He had help from Secretary William Richard Hamilton and artist Giovanni Battista Lucieri. These men were able to create a team to extract the marbles. Earl of Elgin asked Otto, the Bavarian prince, and obtained a firman. The firman was created in 1801, and a copy of it is in the British Museum as of 2008. The original Turkish firman has never been discovered. It is believed it got destroyed in the Greek War of 1821 to 1829. The clause the British Museum depends on the most is Elgin's team of artists could draw, mold, excavate, and remove any pieces of stone with inscriptions and figures that they wished. At the time, Greece was part of the Ottoman Empire, and it had been for most of the previous 350 years. As I stated previous, the Parthenon was in a state of rumble. As Mary Beard stated, it is quite wrong to imagine Elgin removing works of art from the elegance of the modern archaeological site. It was more of a seedy shanty town at that time. For 21 years, Elgin and his team removed 250 cases of marbles, which was sent to London by ship. In 1821, the excavation was stopped when the War of Independence broke out. The Elgin marbles came to London in 1804 and remained in custody until 1806. Elgin originally displayed the marbles in a shed in Park Lane. He wanted to sell to the British government for $60,000, but the government was only willing to give him half. Elgin kept them, and they were placed in a coal shed in a yard of Duke of Derbyshire in Burlington home. Through this time, the marble is being affected by weather and atmospheric decaying from the destructive dampness. Elgin, aware of this, offered the collection to the nation priced at $73,600. The parliamentary committee placed much time and thought and re-offered him the price of $3,500. This was disappointing to Elgin, but he was able to accept it. January 1817, a temporary gallery was built in the museum grounds. In 1831, a permanent gallery was built. Over the years, the marbles have been protected from war and bombing. Craig Flower stated, December 1940, Mrs. Cassia Kiev filed a question asking the Prime Minister Winston Churchill whether the British government would return the Elgin marbles to Greece in partial recognition of the country's valiant resistance and sacrifices of its people. Winston Churchill, after much consideration, felt it should be decided by the museum, not by the government. The British Museum stated these objects was purchased by the British Parliament from Lord Elgin in 1816 and presented by Parliament to the British Museum. The collections include sculptures from the Parthenon, roughly half of what now survives, 247 feet of the original 524 feet of frieze, 15 of 92 of the metopes, 17 figures of the pediments, and various other pieces of architecture. It also included other buildings on the Acropolis and Temple of Athens of Nike. Closer look at the Elgin marbles in the British Museum. Here we have fragment of marble shield from 200 to 300 AD, height 17 inches, width 18 inches. It sits in GR 1864.20.18, sculpture 302, room 18, Greece Parthenon. We have the Panthetic Festival, height 100 centimeters, Elgin collection, phrase 31, room 18, Greece Parthenon. We have Caryatid from Ectheon, the Acropolis, Athens, Greece, 420 BC, height 231 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR 1816, sculpture 407, room 19, Greece Athens. We have the figure of Dionysus from East Pediment, from Parthenon from 438 to 432 BC, length 130 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR East Pediment D, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Figure of Iris from West Pediment of the Parthenon, 438 to 432 BC, height 135 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR West Pediment, North room 18, Greece Parthenon. Horseman from the West phrase of Parthenon, 438 to 432 BC, a height 100 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR West phrase 11 2-3, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Ionic column of Erechtheion, 420 to 415 BC, height 21.500 feet, Elgin collection, GR 1816, 610 110 sculpture, 408, room 19, Greece Athens. Marble metop of Parthenon, 447 to 438 BC, a fight between a human lapith and a centaur, height 172 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR South Metopole, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Head horse of Selene from East Pediment of Parthenon, one of the best loved sculptures, length 83.300 centimeters, GR East Pediment, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Figure of three goddess from the East Pediment of Parthenon, 438 to 432, length 233 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR East Pediment, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Young cow and herdmen from South phrase of Parthenon, 438 to 432, height 100 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR South frieze, room 18, Greece Parthenon. Central scene of East frieze of Parthenon, height 100 centimeters, Elgin collection, GR room 18, Greece Parthenon. You've seen pieces of the Elgin marble collection. If put together, they do tell a story. British Museum and the Acropolis Museum do correspond together. Between the two museums, there are 3 pieces of Elgin marble not accounted for. Greece feels firmly that the Elgin marbles should be given back to Greece. A poll was carried out by IPOS MORI, 40% in favor of returning the marbles to Greece, 15% in favor of keeping them at the British Museum, 18% would not vote, 27% had no opinion. The Newsweek magazine article called Romancing the Stone, June 5, 2009, it stated, "It is not polite to call the Elgin marbles anymore. It is stated many Brits saw Elgin act as cultural vandalism. For many years, scholars felt that the marbles were better preserved in London because of better museum quality. At this time, Greece has proper housing for the marbles in the Acropolis Museum. British Museum is willing to give a loan pieces, but some are too fragile to move. This still upsets Greece as they feel the marbles belong to them. Many people voice their thoughts on the marbles and who they belong to. After all my research, I feel Earl of Elgin started out with a good intention. He lost too much of his life to say he did it for greed. He lost his wealthy wife to his best friend. He put all his money into transporting these pieces of art to London. He spent a lot of money providing care for these art pieces, and in the end he made no money for them. The world of art received so much from Elgin saving the marbles. I look at him as an art hero. What do you think? This topic will always be a conversational controversy. All the marbles will never all be brought to Greece. As culture continues to grow, I hope to see peace between both museums regarding the Elgin marbles so the rest of the world can continue to appreciate and learn from them.